welcome to QI, where tonight we plot the whole history of humanity with 4 prime specimens of the human race. The highly evolved Joe Brand. The ho-ho Homo erectus Jimmy Carr. The creature from the black gloom, Jack D. And the homo Alan Davis. Let's see what your buzzers have evolved into. Joe goes...
I really do go like
We recorded you when you weren't looking. Jimmy goes...
Well, pardon me.
Jack goes... And Alan goes...
1-0 to the Arsenal! 1-0 to the Arsenal!
He's evolved backwards into an Arsenal supporter. So, let's start with this. Describe the perfect man.
a dead one.
Well, there we have 3 specimens, my goodness.
A perfect man. Are you fishing for compliments here?
Can I just say that one in the middle is bloody gorgeous? Is that my husband? I do believe it is.
Oh, really?
Perfect as in, what, the physical specimen?
Is it going to be like a
Well,
Greek
sort of perfect physical specimen.
It's
But
quite, can you see from that there is no such thing as being big-boned? I mean, they are all... they all have the same structure, essentially, and they've never found a fat skeleton, have they? A big skeleton.
I'm afraid it's true, but we're sorry to hear that. No, actually, we're steering you slightly awry here. It's that humans are, Homo sapiens, sapiens is a species of animal. And every species of animal has a kind of definitive version called a holotype, by which all the others are judged. So all I'm saying is, where is the human being which is a standard example of a human being?
But is he standard or is he perfect? Because there's a difference.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
See,
exactly.
I mean, I don't mind being perfect.
The fact is,
But to just be average.
the honour should go to the first person who described humanity in terms of its animal origins, in a way, which is not Darwin. Before Darwin, who came up with the phrase Homo sapiens?
Was it Henry VIII?
No, good effort. It was really a Swede who named everything, who gave things classifications. Do you know who this Swede was?
Not
Ulrika
Nobel, was
Johnson.
Not Ulrika Johnson.
Well, must be the other one, Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Not the other one.
It was ABBA.
No, it was poor Sweden, I apologise to you. He was called Carl Linnaeus. You did know
him,
that.
yeah.
Linnaeus. The Linnaeic system of naming things. And it was felt that the honour should go to him. And then an American paleontologist, he volunteered. He was called Edward Drinker Cope. And he left in his will that he wanted to be the holotype. There he is. So they got his skeleton, and he was going to be the type. But unfortunately, he had syphilis, and it was present in his skeletal structure, the evidence of his having syphilis.
How
They
embarrassing.
don't put that on the little leaflet in the doctors, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. So essentially, there is none. There is no perfect human.
So basically the position's vacant.
The position is vacant. They've suggested Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bob Hope, Raquel Welch.
I think she would be distracting for the scientists.
She might. Yeah, so it is basically a vacant position. But what am I making that noise? Who's that?
Who's that, Jesus?
With legs out.
Oh,
as well.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci. Do you know what he's called?
No, I've
Vitruvian Man.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh, the guy that...
Correct.
Yeah.
That one.
He's
Yeah.
done too many arms and too many legs. He's a bloody fool.
Well, now
You're the
wouldn't be
same.
quite such a fool.
You're the same width as you are height, or something. Isn't
It's,
that right?
well, what it's showing the proportions. In one of them, the man is spread-eagled and is exactly fitting a circle, and the second one is he is fitting a square. When we fit a circle like that, our absolute centre, the centre of the circle, is the navel. But when we fit a square, the centre is the...
Genitalia.
the genit, as you rightly say, alia.
I believe tummy banana is the term.
The chubby banana.
We're using in our house.
Yeah, exactly. Who was Vitruvius? Why is he called Vitruvian Man?
Is that not him?
That was not the name of the man, no. He was a Roman architect who wrote about man's dimensions being the kind of criterion by which you should design architecture. And it goes like this. Your height is equal to the span of your arms, as the square demonstrates.
What I want to know is, what is the bloke behind doing that's
Alan, let me tell you.
made
It's
him
fine.
open his leg like that?
But these proportions are more or less correct. Your head is 1/8 of your body height.
Your head's about 1/4 of your body.
Is it?
Yeah, because your brain's so
Oh,
massive.
stop it. Oh, yeah, and you can see also that the width of your shoulders is equal to the distance from the elbow to the tip of the fingers, is the same as your shoulder span. So there's a lot of proportion going on. Where would you see this mostly if you were in Italy?
Rome,
The internet.
Florence, Venice.
The fact is, there are millions of them all over Italy. Why is that?
The beer mats.
Not beer mats.
I didn't hear you. That was a joke. That was a guess.
No, it's the €1 coin. The Italian version of the €1 coin has this on the obverse. He was so gifted. They say that when he was a boy, he was apprenticed to a master painter, one of the great painters of his age. And typical in those days, there was a huge fresco or canvas being, that a pope or someone had commissioned, and Leonardo was told just to do one of the angels. So he went to the corner and did the angel, and the master came and looked at it and broke his own brushes and walked out and never painted again. It's rather wonderful.
Some people are like that, aren't they? They're just
Yeah.
peevish.
But of course, people call him Leonardo, and of course, Da Vinci is just the place he came from. Name some other painters like that who really used the first name.
Leonardo da Streatham.
Yes. Rolf of Australia.
That is true. How can I take that away from you? Michelangelo, for example. His surname was Buonarroti, but he was known as Michelangelo, and we call him by his Raphael. We call by his first name. It's like cooks. Delia, Nigella, Jamie.
Jamie de Essex.
That's the one, exactly. Anyway, if you think you're the perfect man, there may be a job for you in a museum somewhere, as long as you don't have syphilis. On your way there, though, how would you spot a Neanderthal if you saw one on a bus?
He'd be the one who comes and sits next to me. Nearly always.
Yeah.
He's the one already sitting next to me because I'm married to him.
This is going to be the humiliate my husband show.
Yeah, he doesn't watch this. It's all
Oh,
right.
fine, okay.
He doesn't really understand it.
Is he the one looking at the wheels going, what the hell?
It's got has they got the lump and great forehead, or is that the Cro-Magnon?
Well, the point is, actually, we'd be
They
very
look-
hard put
they
to tell the
look
difference
exactly
if they
the
wore a
same.
T-shirt. Admittedly, you'd say, well, it's an unusual looking
that's our
person.
producer.
Yes, but if you make... if, and I dream of it, we shaved and dressed our producer one day, popped her on a bus... she might look like a normal person. That's, the point is that they...
So far, we haven't.
No, we've not managed that yet.
He looks like...
Is that a model?
That's a model of how they might look. Unfortunately, we think of them as incredibly stupid, but they had religious rites, they buried their dead, they made ornaments. At one point, we were one species that diverged, and these two branches of humanity lived in Europe. In fact, Neanderthals lived in Europe for 4 times longer than we ever have. They had a long period of living there.
And did we cross over?
We did cross over, and no one quite knows why they went extinct, whether we bullied them, whether we outsmarted them. They were stronger than us.
Right.
We invented the bus, though.
We did They didn't invent the bus. You can't get on that one. But about 1 to 4% of our DNA is Neanderthal, so we crossbred.
So were there ever, for instance, Homo sapiens who married Neanderthals? You imagine a wedding like that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a punch-up in a car park.
Yeah. Go to Basildon any Saturday night.
I'm glad you said that.
Sorry, no.
I just want to tour again one day.
Norfolk.
But no, the fact is, yes, you're right. I mean, there was interbreeding. And there are many theories. Some think that we, Homo sapiens, as it were, kept Neanderthal girls as sex slaves, but it's very possible it was the other way around, because they were stronger than us. But certainly there was a lot of interbreeding, but for some reason they died out.
Probably the first genocide, first of many that we proudly executed over the many centuries.
Maybe we just teased them to death. Maybe they couldn't take it anymore.
Wonderful.
I know I'm ugly and stupid.
So politically incorrect.
Oh, I can run fast. Oh, you're really good.
Why are they called Neanderthal?
Is it an anagram?
Probably is. Anagram of leather dant.
Leather dant. Leather dant.
But no,
That's a period in time, isn't it?
no, it's not actually. It's just simply a valley near Dusseldorf in Germany where they were found Neanderthal. There were many other. Can you name other species?
I do like the idea, though, of having
Homo
another
australis.
species of human that is just a little bit stupid, but, you know, friendly, and lived with us and were quite happy just to do all the jobs and stuff for
Well,
us.
it's Brave New World, isn't it? Exactly. The
I like the
gammas.
idea of it, I have to
Yeah.
say. I mean, I'm not a nutter or anything.
No.
But I like the idea of... Who wouldn't mind, either? They'd be very simple
And could be your
and
sex slave.
obliging.
Yep,
Yeah.
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 Can
well,
we go back to the picture of the man that looks like a gnome?
Oh, yes.
Where's
the
he?
producer.
Yeah, I don't really fancy that as a sex slave, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not being overly fussy, I just think...
Bearing in mind, though, Jimmy, this is before the invention of electric light. You know, it's gloomy.
Yeah.
be in a cave.
It's cold.
You be in a cave, it's cold.
Have a few beers, you'd be fine.
He's quite a friendly-looking bloke, isn't he, really? For a Neanderthal.
Yes, definitely. But if you gave him, and when I say him, I mean a Neanderthal man, a tracksuit and a haircut, he would attract no more attention than any of the other nutters on the bus. Which bit of you is evolving the quickest?
Is it my propeller?
You have a
What
propeller?
did you say, revolving?
No, evolving. No,
Wouldn't it be brilliant, though?
yeah, if you had a propeller.
If we had a propeller.
It would be, rather.
Do you think there's any animals that have got propellers? Is
There's a thing that lives in the sea that has sort of a propeller mechanism. And it was used as
that
the...
a boat?
The hippo's tail is slightly less savoury, but the hippo uses its tail and it revolves it to spread its faeces in as wide a way as possible.
That's what I do in swimming pools.
And what do you revolve to help that happen, I wonder?
I don't think you can.
Oh, just your
really.
hand.
It's always so embarrassing when it happens.
Well, it does it to mark out more territory, literally. Just
I suppose I shouldn't do it from the top board.
Nice.
You're talking about...
What was the question?
You were
again?
talking about evolving?
Yes.
Because I've always thought that whenever they mention on the news Scottish devolution,
Yeah.
I always think that sounds like they're losing their opposable thumbs. Or they get their tenants super open.
De-evolving.
So are we halting evolution?
Well, no, there's no evidence that we are. But
But isn't the last thing... Would it be our stomachs that have evolved the quickest? Because our diet's changed massively in the last 2,000 years.
you're right. It seems, though, that the part of the body that has changed most recently, in the last 10,000 years, is the nose, funnily enough. And we're not quite sure why. It seems there's some noses, in case
And
you
are
didn't
you
know
going
what
to tell us the more highly evolved people have got sort of a slightly bent to one side nose?
Yes, there is that element. It just
The most
slightly...
highly evolved people have got 3 noses.
By the look of it. Yeah, there is a widespread assumption that we've ceased evolving, but that doesn't... I don't think it's true, but of course it does take so long. I mean, it's like what I was saying about the Neanderthal man having lived in Europe for 4 times longer than we have.
Isn't that... I mean, you say that we never notice it, but people are getting taller by generation,
Yes.
aren't they?
And yeah, that's a nutritional thing.
It
really,
is nutrition,
isn't it?
and you can see it in Japanese who only ate fish and things. The moment they started eating beef and beef burgers came, the Japanese in a generation and a half.
Uh-oh, watch out for them.
Yeah,
They'll be back.
Got a lot taller. So it seems that our noses are evolving quicker than any other part of our body. So, describe the effects of hero syndrome. What is hero?
Psychological disorder where you put your trousers on before your pants.
It is a psychological disorder. I think that's a very good description of it.
Oh, is it where you think you're a hero? Is that?
Is it anything to do with Hero the person in mythology?
Oh, as in Hero Leander? No,
Yes.
not that.
Oh, I thought I sounded really intelligent
You
there.
did!
So you think you're a hero, you behave like a hero.
You think, yes, it's worse than that. It's really pretty sick.
Do you make something terrible happen
Yes.
so you can look like a hero?
Exactly that.
So you set a building on fire and then rescue
Especially
everyone?
fire, yes.
Oh,
It's
really?
a real problem, particularly in America, because
like
in America...
Munchausen's.
Sorry, are we
It's
saying
like
that?
a kind of Munchausen's by proxy.
Are we saying this is illegal?
Indeed.
I've no idea. I'm sorry.
So keen are they to present themselves as heroes, they will set fire to buildings and then be the one who goes in and...
And would these be just regular people, or would it be someone that's in a profession?
It's firemen.
It's fireman.
Firemen, yeah.
Because firemen are sort of they're a hero for a job. It's a weird job when you think about it.
Couldn't it possibly be the other way around, that they know they're arsonists, but they've got a guilty conscience, so they become firemen as well?
Well, there is an element to that.
Did you hear about that Crime Watch presenter in Brazil who found that the show wasn't exciting enough, so he started killing people?
Yeah, his name was Sousa, and he was supposed to have commissioned, if that's the right word, 5 murders.
And the police got suspicious when his camera crew turned up before it had even been phoned in.
He went on the run, and then he turned himself in. So, yes, in South Carolina in 1993 and 94, they discovered 47 in 1 year had done this.
All by the same guy?
No, 47 different.
47 different arson stroke firemen.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, though, isn't it? Because it's a very noble thing to want to be, a hero. It's like it's a really nice thing to want to be, but just so sort of a little bit misguided.
I know, it is. There was, not quite related, but there was a Japanese customs officer who was training a sniffer dog and decided to hide quite a large wad of cannabis on a random passenger who didn't know about it, just basically plant it. And the idea was that then the passenger would go through, the dog would sniff and find it. The dog didn't get it. The passenger just walked through and got a free brick of cannabis. Got home and going, what? It's just very strange.
I'll fly with them again.
Usually it's just a pack of cashews.
I only got a wash bag with the other guys.
Most extraordinary, yeah. You don't have to be a hero to be a worthwhile person, but how much are you worth?
Well, I mean, if you sold all your bits...
Basically, yeah. As a human, not forgetting your bank account and your social
kidneys
entity.
and your liver and your...
And your skin and your everything. Let's start with your... I mean, very basically, just your meat.
Flesh.
Your flesh, if you prefer to call it that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who you're going to sell it to. I mean, possibly Lidl, Aldi, maybe.
Yeah.
Take it.
In Moldova, there were a couple of women stopped who were selling human flesh, and they were charging £1.30 a kilo. So that would make the average-ish human be about £100 of flesh.
I think you'd go for more.
I might be
if you had a restaurant in Chelsea.
And we think there's a problem with the national debt. We're sitting on a gold mine.
We are, yeah.
There's 60 million of you out there.
And there's leather, there's a skin.
But there's isn't there sort of a scientific thing here? Because you've got a very tiny bit of calcium in your body. But that's saleable if you could take it out. Or there's tiny bits of metals,
it's gold.
They're gold?
Yes.
In me?
0.4 of a milligram. 0.4 of a milligram, worth about 8 pence.
It's something.
Yeah, it's a trace ID. So, OK, we got the meat. The meat's £100. What about leather? So you've got skin. How much does your skin weigh?
Yeah.
40 quid, I'll give you 40 quid.
The biggest
for
organ
your
in the
skin.
body, isn't it, or something?
Well, it's large-ish. I mean, it's about £8, 3.6 kilograms. So.
I would hope mine would go to Louis Vuitton.
But, well, it could do. It's an area, it's about 22 square foot, about the size of an average door, say. Is that? And if you were charging the same as cowhide, that would be only about £20, I'm afraid.
It'd be a shame if you ended up bag for life.
Yeah. It's been most unfortunate.
I think the coin purse alone would fetch a couple of grand.
The coin purse. Very nicely put.
My Jimmy Carr coin.
But then we come to the big ones, the transplantable organs. A pair of corneas could be £4,000, just the corneas. So you get good money for your eyes. And how much do you pay for a human heart, do you think, on the
£50,000.
Well, not bad. 40,000 you can probably get one for.
What about a kidney? That's the classic thing.
Anything from 10 to 20,000 for a kidney.
You know, last year I donated a kidney.
Did you?
Yeah, of course, they wanted to know where I got it from.
Lungs?
25,000.
75. 75. Very valuable,
yeah,
lungs. £75,000.
Very valuable.
So basically, if you, all your body parts sold, we reckon about £400,000. So you've got £400,120 so far.
So the thing is, when you get your donor card,
Yeah.
it says, will you donate your stuff?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, OK, I'll donate it.
Yeah.
You should be able to sell it, shouldn't you?
You could, I suppose.
I carry a donor card, but
But that's so you can get a kebab at night.
No, what I've done is I carry it, but I haven't signed it, because I want someone else to have the use of it after I've died.
And then there are the chemical components, which we mentioned. There's 10 gallons of water, which doesn't go for much, enough carbon for a sack of coal, enough bone...
sorry, enough carbon for a sack of coal?
Yeah.
That's
We're a carbon-based
extraordinary.
life form. That's our main feature. A packet of bone meal fertiliser you could get out of a human, a bag of salt, a few nails from the iron, and the small trace elements like, say, 0.4 of a milligram of gold, which is not much. You probably wouldn't get much change out of £10, but it's not really very much, is it, for all your worth? So, frankly, you know, $500,000 if you're very, very in good order.
It's silly to burn it then at the end, isn't it?
It's what it is, really.
Got a lot going on there.
Yes.
So what would it be if you just took... If it wasn't the organ donation type thing, if it was just the chemicals and the stuff we're made of? What would...
About a tenner. Really not much. In reality, of course, everybody's priceless. But what is the point of teenagers?
Are they the only group that you're legally allowed to punch?
Are they...
I mean, I might have dreamt that.
I think you probably did.
The thing is about teenagers is that they don't think of themselves as remarkable and strange.
No.
So yeah, people look at them and think, now they're odd, they sound odd, they speak oddly, but they communicate amongst themselves very efficiently.
Absolutely right.
And really ought to be breeding, in fact, in many areas.
They are. They are. Almost
Because they like being together, they don't want to be with anybody else, they function very well on their own, they are sexually ready for children. That's the point of teenagers.
The point is, they do think differently. You can use MRI, and there were a number of experiments with adults and adolescents with brain scans, and they were both shown, for example, a woman in a particular emotional state, and they were asked what emotional state it was, and all the adults answered correctly. But lots of the teenagers couldn't interpret the emotion. And it was found they use a different part of their brain to do so. So when an adult is having a row with a teenager and they're not understanding each other, it's really because they just have different ways of thinking.
They don't like it if you try and...
They don't want to be understood, no.
Use their language.
Oh, God.
Because I remember going up to some teenagers outside the park going, look at that minger over there, right? And they went, oh, for God's sake, it's Minger.
Minger.
Yes, I know. And one of them went, and that's my mum. So obviously
Yeah, there are those who propose the argument, almost like Alan, that maybe they are the proper state. And we've grown down from that into our rather more fixed and rigid and rational...
It's the best time of life, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're very sad when you're a teenager, you feel like everything's going to end.
Yeah.
But then the next day, something amazingly brilliant happens, like you hear a new band.
Yeah. No, you're right, absolutely.
And everything's just great again. Or if you see a film that you like, you really just love it.
Yeah. And you
watch
never
it 8
forget it
times,
the
you
whole
never
of your
forget
life.
it. Yeah, the things
Exactly.
that you really, really love or discover at that age
Yeah.
are the things that stay with you for the rest of your life.
No, I agree with you, and I think the Republic of Adolescence is a fine place to live, and it's a shame ever to leave it. Maybe teenagers are the real thing, and it's the adults who are behaving oddly. Oh, the humanity, it's time for general ignorance, so fingers on buzzers, if you please. Name the fastest human runner of all time.
Now.
I'm going to go Usain Bolt. What? He is. Well, he is. Did you not watch it? It was on telly. He's called Bolt, for God's sake. What more do you want?
The argument for him being one of the fastest is strong, but
him winning and being the fastest?
he won that race.
He won that race, yes.
But humans...
you think you're faster, too?
I think T8 was faster.
T8?
T8.
Who's that?
It's a fossilised footprint in Australia of an Aboriginal people. And you can tell from the strides that they ran really fast.
What were they running from?
The white man.
Yeah, possibly. They had good reason to. Usain Bolt can reach 27 miles per hour for a second or
Which
two.
is very, very impressive. But again, rabbits run at 35 miles an hour, and that's much more exciting.
It is not as fast as a rabbit.
It's not as fast as Jimmy Carr when it's his round.
Hey. 20,000 years ago, on the Gold Coast, they discovered these footprints. One of the males was running at 23 miles per hour, but, all right, so Usain Bolt can travel 27 on a running track with spiked shoes, whereas T8 was in mud, barefoot, and was accelerating. We don't know how much faster he got. It seems likely that he was faster than Bolt, and anyway, it's quite likely also that he wasn't the fastest of his 150,000 strong tribe. So anthropologists believe that he could have gone up to about 28
But in fairness,
I mean, for
Usain
all
Bolt
we
wasn't
know-
being chased by a lion, was he?
There is also that, yeah, that's
For all
true.
we know, he could have been like a fat bloke who was about 45. And all the others were really fast.
Yeah, exactly,
Doing like
exactly.
48 miles an hour. How do they actually tell? Is it the stride length?
I think
then?
it is. I mean, it's, yeah, stride length, depth of impress. You can be pretty accurate about it.
Maybe they just had a rock in the shape of a foot and they did it for a laugh.
Maybe. It's true. It's true. I'm not saying Usain Bolt isn't fast. Anyway, now, footprints in Australia suggest that some of our ancestors were much faster than the best athletes are today. The fastest one we know of was called T8. Now, which disease could this animal give you?
Go on.
Malaria.
Oh, Jack, you were doing so well.
Can't believe you said that.
Well, that's how I got it.
It was a mosquito, but you never get malaria from a mosquito that buzzes.
Oh, silent but deadly.
Sorry? Silent but
SBD.
silent but deadly. It's the females of some species of Anopheles mosquito that don't make a noise, and usually it's the ankle. It's usually the lower limbs.
Yeah, they go for that.
They're the ones you've got to watch out for. So if you can hear it, it's obviously a nuisance, and it can give you yellow fever if it's a buzzy one, and it can give you dengue fever, which in many respects is worse than some forms of light malaria. So it's not that they're harmless, but they won't give you malaria if you can hear them.
Isn't Bill Gates, because he's got that foundation, hasn't
Yes.
he, with Warren Buffett.
That's right.
They set up this incredible
Huge amount
thing.
of money they put into it,
And
yes.
they think they're actually going to be able to tackle malaria, which is an extraordinary thing to do when you think about, you know, some geek in a garage starting a
It
computer
is
company.
marvellous
It's
if
amazing.
his life is spent doing that, because they are the deadliest disease vector in history, of course. In fact, over half the people who have ever lived on this planet have been killed by mosquitoes. Over half the people who have ever lived. If we could just wipe them out, it wouldn't be good either, because they're also great pollinators and a vital pollinator around much of the world. Yes, a buzzing mosquito cannot give you malaria. They might give you something equally unpleasant. Which brings us to the end of the show. And before we go, let's see who's the winner in this human race. Well, it's a very exciting outcome, I have to say. The pinnacle of human evolution, with a score of +4, is Joe Brand.
Oh, my God.
Very good. Thoroughly astonished. The missing link with a plus score of 3 is Alan Davis. Slightly dragging his knuckles along the ground with -2 is Jack D. But I'm afraid, heading for extinction with -3, Jimmy Carr. So all that's left is for me to thank Joe, Jimmy, Jack, and of course Alan. And I leave you with this thought about being human and being happy. If you really want to be happy, all you have to do is say, I am beautiful. So I want you all tonight to go and look at the mirror and say, Stephen Fry is beautiful. Good night.
Coming up next tonight, a dramatisation of a poem starring Emma Thompson and Alan Rickman. The Song of Lunch is next. And then here on BBC HD at 10 to 10, we're off to Gardener's World.